Cloud. Okay, so we just realized that we had not been recording, so we're recording from now. Share, okay. PowerPoint. Okay, so the point I was gonna make, is the cooperative advantage. You always want to let people know that you are a cooperative because that sets you apart from any other business, especially those big businesses. So we're a community-based organization, which is a worker cooperative. That means that we are taking charge of our own business. We're helping to create jobs in our communities because people will support you. They see that you're helping people, that you're a small business, that you're Black owned, or you got, different genders or, whatever in your organization. All of these appeal to people. So that's one of a key marketing thing that you have is they even consider it the co-op advantage, that you have an advantage if you put work cooperative, because even though people may not know what a worker cooperative is, they can figure out, okay, there's workers in there, they're working together, whatever. But, and that's also an opportunity if you put that on your flyer or your website if somebody says, okay, what's the co-op? Then you have this opportunity to explain what that worker co-op is and how it's going to benefit the community and what it's doing and, your mission, all those things. And, you pretty much are going to make people want to support you because you're just not about making money, but you're trying to make a difference in, what happened? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I was rushing through this. Sorry, I thought I was finished here. But so governance, we kind of went through that. Maybe I kind of duplicated here. So governance are your operating agreement, your bylaws, um, conflict policy, and you should have a conflict policy that is if something happens, if there is a disagreement, what is the first step? What is the process that people go through to resolve conflict? Because you don't want things to get out of hand because people hold in grudges and stuff like that. So another governance policy issue is, well, this will be included, how decisions are made, decision making. So it can be by majority vote, it can be by consensus, it can be a new process that they call, it's not that new, but maybe 15 years, I guess, it's been in operation. It's sociocracy. And so that's a way of making decisions where if you've probably been in meetings where some people may not say a word. They're in the meeting and people are discussing and they don't really have anything to say. And it's not because they don't know what to say, or it might be just that they're shy, or they feel like, oh, I'm scared of making a fool of myself in a big group, or any number of reasons. So sociocracy is a process where everybody is required to make a statement or opinion on the issue on the table. Say the issue is we need to raise our prices because we're not making enough money to cover our expenses. And so we want everybody to discuss this issue because we want to come at it from every angle possible. So everybody is doing the work. Everybody's out in the community. They hear things. So, you know, maybe everybody's going for raising prices, but the quiet person might know that, hey, you know, I'm in touch with people all the time, and they're saying that they can barely make it, or, you know, whatever. So that person brings that perspective to the discussion. But if you don't like ask people and say, this is the way we're going to do it, everybody has to have an opinion or say something, raise a question, or just say, well, I don't have anything right now, but I may have an idea on the next round. Because really, that's what you do. You do rounds. You do a round. This is what we propose. Do people support it or object to it? And so you might do a round and everybody says, well, I support it because of this, or I don't support it because of that. But nobody talks after that until everybody's done a round. So the next round, you get to say, well, oh, I think the idea is not good because X, Y, and Z, or hey, we're really struggling. We need a little bit more money. So, you know, you do that till maybe 3 or 4 rounds until you start to see the pattern where most people are either going for it or most are not. And then you kind of determine what are the main points here. And then those two things could be another round until you come to a consensus. You come to understanding that, I just realized I need to look at the clock. You come to an understanding that these are the two main issues here. And so you may want to have further discussion. You may want to do research to bolster one point or the other. But the whole point is getting the input from everybody, working out the problem until you come to a solution or a consensus. So the reason you need to go through this, because so if you did just simple majority, which say you got 13 people in the co-op and you got 7 for and 6 against, well, that's very close. So what can happen is people may feel strongly about their position, and so they might say, well, okay, it won, but it was only by 1 point, and I'm really not going to try to do what the group decided because I really don't like the program or the decision. And so what can happen is those people who lost the vote can start to sabotage the decision because they don't support the decision, or they feel like their argument wasn't listened to, or they weren't heard, or whatever. And so, especially when something is very close like that, you want to exhaust the discussion, give people the right to say whatever they feel is, you know, most important, and you discuss it and work it out. And they may be won over to see that, oh, well, I thought that was a good idea, but you know, when we look at it and look at all that sides to it, we realize, maybe that's not the best thing. And so you can kind of move people over to one side or the other, and it's better to have a decision where most people support the decision. So that as you get more you know, time, you'll kind of get to know each other, and you know, you'll know who's going to support different things or may support. Which brings up another thing in terms of conflict, you know, knowing the people types, knowing your types. So there are different types of people. There's several different, like they call them personality types and stuff like that. So, you know, you've probably heard of some people are more introvert versus extrovert. So the introvert is the person that sort of likes to be alone. They get their energy from being alone. They don't need other people around. They don't want other people around. They need their quiet times. So they get energy from having that. If they don't get quiet time, they get grumpy or, you know, whatever, snappy. And then you have your extroverts. These are people who get their energy from being around people. These are the life of the party type people. You know, they're good with telling jokes. They, you know, they feel comfortable reaching out to people they don't know. They're just, you know, they just love that kind of stuff. So that's one type of person, what we call the people person. They're really good with people. And so you may have people, your introvert might be the bookkeeper. You know, they like working alone. They love numbers and, you know, they need to concentrate. So they ain't about this, like, you know, needing a whole bunch of people around. They want to work by themselves. So you have to recognize these types of people. Another way is because you want them to you want them to work their best. So another way people get grouped is by the people who are process people. These are the people who can set up. They set up. This is what you do when you have X. First you do this, second you do that. You got to check this, da 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 da. And this is what everybody should do when we have a problem, or some problem that we need to work out. So they're good at taking notes to know what to do, filing the notes. Here's where everything is organized. They're good at that kind of stuff. So that's a skill that's really valuable. Then you got people who are the visionary types. They will see the big picture. They know where we gotta go because they've been studying this issue for a long time, or they're feeling like they're really, it's a passion for them or whatever. So they see beyond the day-to-day organizing. They can see, hey, at one point we're going to have every child in every house or apartment is going to have their own laptop, and that's going to increase school grades, and it's going to make more kids choose different careers or whatever. So they're looking at the big picture, the long picture. And so one of the criticisms of the visionary type is that they don't really get into the details of the day-to-day. It's like, okay, that sounds good, but hey, where we getting the money from? Or who's gonna go knocking on all these doors? Or where all these computers gonna come from? So those people are the detail people. Now, it's not saying one is better than the other, because together they make a powerful team. So you need your visionaries. You need the people that's gonna tell you where we headed. And then you need your detail people to tell you, like, well, we only got $100 in the bank, and to do that, we're gonna require some fundraising. And it's because you need people to bring you back down to earth. And so, okay, we don't have the money. What can we do to get it? So, yeah, you got these different types of people. And so it might be a good thing, if you haven't done already, to figure out what's your type. Are you the one that's going to be asking the questions about the details? How we going to get the money? How long this going to take? Or are you the visionary? Are you a person who needs to work alone? Or is your superpower the ability to send this person out to businesses and come back with contracts, because they can talk, they relate to people well. So we definitely want that person to be on the marketing team, because they're going to bring in the business. Or are they creative? Are they good, like artistic people? They can say things in a poetic way, or they can create some art that is going to stop people in their tracks and say, "Ooh, yeah, I like that. What is this about?" Whatever. Come up with ideas to bring people together and come to listen to a presentation or whatever. So know your people. And so utilize your people in the best way so that the co-op benefits from the genius of everybody. Everybody has a genius. They have a passion, they have a skill, they have a reason why they feel a certain way. Utilize that, utilize their strengths, and in the jobs that they are given, or just volunteer to do just because they like it. If somebody loves making art or organizing stuff, let them have at it, because they're going to bring that energy and passion to the work. So, keep all this stuff in mind when you're dealing with not just conflict, but, how you develop policy, conflict and other policies. So, and it's good to have policies. You don't want to, have a situation and then have to, on the fly, figure out how you're going to do it. So, conflict is going to come up. So have a conflict policy. Have a policy about coming to work. Unfortunately, you want to do recruitment to get the people who you think can do co-ops. Not everybody can do this. Some people just want to go to a job, do their little work, half-ass, and then come back and, make a little salary. They're not really into doing their best. Well, when you interview, you got to try to figure out who those people are. And, people will say a lot of good things to get in. And then when they get into co-op, I hate meetings. I'm not going to these meetings. Or, well, I really think I need to get more money because I got more education, or I work longer than this person, or whatever, and so you do have to have things to address that. So if people are not doing whatever hours you set, say a minimum of 20 or 40 or 30 or whatever you have, if they're not coming to work, or they're coming to work late, they can't get the same amount as if, the other person who was there all the time. So you got to have that policy about that. So it's no question. It ain't no fight, no anger, no nothing, because you signed a document that said, in order to get paid, you got to do X. In order to be considered a valid member of this co-op, you got to attend 8 out of 10 meetings, or 9 out of 10 meetings. If you got an emergency, that's understood. But, everybody needs to come to the meetings, because this is how we make decisions. And, we inform people, and people, got a right to know, all the things that's going on and what they can expect. If you don't come to the meetings, you don't know. So don't get angry if, things happen that you don't know about, because you should come to the meeting. So these kinds of things, you have to put all of the HR stuff and out on paper. What will get somebody fired, what will get somebody suspended, and even with that, you do want to have a policy where you don't want to just, unless it's violence or something like that, you don't just want to kick somebody out because they make a mistake. You want to rehabilitate them in terms of, what was the problem? Was it lack of education, lack of experience? What was the co-op's role in that? What was the individual's role in that? And, address problems, give people a chance to make up, and then set limits, because, sometimes people don't take you serious until you say 3 strikes, you out. We gave you, enough chances, maybe more than 3 or whatever, or less, whatever. So, the point is, you want to give people an opportunity to do better, but you don't want to allow them to drag the co-op down by continuing to not perform, or, use violent language, or whatever they're doing. You want to protect your workers. Nobody wants to be abused and, the energy taken. So you have to get rid of people who, always causing some drama, not doing what they're supposed to do because they're demoralizing everybody else. And, people aren't going to want to work if somebody else is, not working and still getting the benefit. So financing basically is how do you provide the money for the initial, how do you fund the co-op? So one of the things, like if you get a loan, you would have that information in your report, your business plan. You would say, you need startup capital of X amount of dollars. So you can either get that as a loan. You can, if you have a credit union or a bank, they can give you an account where they may put in 5,000 or 10,000, and that's what you use to pay your bills, and with the understanding, you're going to make some money and pay that loan off or whatever. So you can use loans, or if you're a nonprofit, you may be able to get some grants. You may do fundraising yourself. You may, have shares, either community shares or co-op shares, to bring the money in. And you could also sell products. And usually it's good to have several ways that you're getting money in, so that you're not, if one doesn't work out well, then you can go to another one. So accounting is, you need someone to do the books. That is key. You need a bookkeeper, and they don't have to be, skilled. Basically, it's keeping a list of expenditures and money coming in. Saving all the receipts, because when you're a business, you gotta document everything. You gotta save the receipts, your contracts that you are entering into, and how much that's gonna cost. You might have a contract for I have no idea what a technology company might use on an ongoing basis, but there might be some contracts for certain things, and maybe you agree to pay X amount of dollars for per disc or whatever, with a certain limit and something like that. You'll probably have contracts with the school district or businesses that maybe you're going to provide help desk services, or whatever. So you have contracts and money may be involved. So you want to keep a record of your contracts. If you're getting grant money, sometimes grants have a requirement that only certain the money might be, what do they call that, where it can only be used for certain purposes. So you have to make sure that that money is, what do they call it, can't think of the name of it, but certain funds are restricted. Restricted or unrestricted funds are only used for what they're supposed to be used. So you need you may need a separate account, or you can do it all on paper and say, hey, we got 50,000 from this nonprofit to provide computers for all the children who get SNAP, whose families get SNAP or something. So there might be a federal program out there that would support that. And then you have to make sure that those funds are kept separate. They can't be used to do marketing or pay salaries or any of those things. So you have to make sure that you have that done right, because if you don't, you can lose your grant, or you can end up in trouble with DC government taxes or something like that. So you want to make sure that that's working right. Any questions? Anybody got any points?
No, it sounds.
Okay. All right. So we talked about marketing. So that's surveys. That is local newspapers. A lot of the papers like the Afro American and the Informer will run stories for free. Though some of them, they know that some of them like to charge you because they know you need it. But you develop a relationship with these papers, and sometimes they will do stuff that's not being charged. So websites, where people can find you. Let's see, flyers, surveys, who are your customers and what are they willing to pay? Okay, we got 20 minutes left. All right, so there's other things. Oh, social media for your marketing. And you may want to have somebody whose specific job that is to do marketing. Oops. All right. Okay, so recruiting, that's a big issue. Depending on your business plan, you might feel like you need a certain number of people in order for the work to go as well as it should. And so you might decide, hey, we need to recruit 2 or 3 more people. And so, you need to really know what you want and know what you're looking for. You're going to look for people who want to be in this or excited about being in this, who want to learn, who can come to meetings, who can speak their minds, who can challenge you when you need to be challenged, who can take criticism themselves. Some people, either because they're too sensitive, they're, been hurt a lot about criticism, or they may just feel like, oh, I'm a failure because I couldn't do this. So, they might be sensitive. So you have to really be like conscious of those kind of things. But you do want to look for the ideal person. Who would that ideal person be? You may even put this on paper, the kind of people we're looking for, who are not scared, not afraid of the computer, who are willing to work long hours, who are creative, try new things. What it is that digital liberations really need right now. What's the top skill that we're missing that we need? And so you go looking for it, and you put out the word, or you might even do some ads or free stuff to let people know that you're looking for this type of person. Hey, and don't rule out going to a traditional business, because sometimes people are unhappy in those jobs. They might be making a lot of money, but they don't have a life, a personal life, or their supervisor talks to them like a dog, or they don't like the phony people, or whatever. There's, people can be, willing to take a lesser pay for a position in a job or co-op where they get respect, or they feel they're appreciated or their ideas are accepted. They can explore and be themselves. So you want to do that. Now, an elevator speech. So anybody know what an elevator speech is?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you do want to work on this and have this prepared, because so the idea is if you meet somebody in the elevator and somebody says, "Oh, well, what do you do?" Or if they see, name tag or something, or what is digital liberations? What are you guys about? You want to be able to tell them in 30 seconds, because that's about how long you're going to take before they get to their floor and have to get out, or if they get down to the exit and they have to go. So you want to be able to explain what the co-op is about or the key points that you want people to know in 30 seconds or less. And so you really should practice that. Everybody should practice that and be able to recite that speech. And you certainly want to do that when you're recruiting. What is a co-op? Hey, this is a business that's group owned, that where you get to be a part of making decisions about what the group does and how much you make, and those kind of things. So you just want to, and you may tailor that in a different way for people in the industry. What are the key things they want to hear when it comes to being in a technology co-op. So yeah, key concepts that they need to hear. And what things you want to weed out from the jump. Some people, if they tell you, well, man, I don't really like meeting, or I can't stand gay people, or hey, I don't want no woman telling me what to do, or all these kinds of things. You want that's a red flag. This ain't the right person for the co-op, because in the co-op we respect everybody. And if you got the skills and the energy, you get an opportunity to shine. So if you got these retro ideas where you're feeling insecure and you want to make yourself feel better by oppressing somebody else, then this is not the place for you. And so, you might even want to make that, if you feel like the person has some potential, you want to make that point to them. Well, in our co-op, we respect everybody, da 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 da. Do you think that's something you can deal with? You got great skills. We would love to have you, but sorry, we can't have people insulting our fellow workers, and we want everybody to get along, da 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 da. So you run that. And it's a lot of co-ops have a probation period where you work for 6 months or 3 months, and they see how you come to meetings, they see whether you participate, they check your work, and then the co-op gets to vote on whether you should be allowed to be a member of the co-op. So these are the things you can talk to people about who you want in the organization. And ideally everybody is involved in the interviews and the decision making. Because one thing you'll find is that some people will notice things that you had no clue about. I used to have friends who was like, well, didn't you see her eye jump, or her face ticked, or whatever when you mentioned XYZ? Some people are just more attuned to those kinds of things. So listen to everything that people come up with, because you might not have noticed it. Okay, so we have 12 minutes, and let's see, how are we doing? Oh, we might be able to get through this in 12 minutes. Okay. Why do co-ops fail? So, it's a good idea, right? You can have a place where you work and you're getting respect and you get to do what you like, and your creative ideas are appreciated. But you know, it's hard work. It's hard work being in a co-op. It's rewarding work, but it's not as easy to just go as going to a job and you know, being told what to do. I mean, that could be easy or not. But so we mentioned that failure to understand that co-ops are not for everyone. Everybody's not going to sit in a meeting. Everybody don't want to know about how much money is spent or whatever. You know, some people have different aims. Some people really want to make a lot of money. You definitely need to understand that about some people. And some people will try to use the co-op to make their own money. You know, they figure, hey, I'm smarter than those yo-yos over there. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do all the talking. I'm gonna convince all of them to come work for me because I got the magic sauce and I'm gonna make more money than they ever dreamed of. So, you know, if you get a little whiff of anybody that kind of with that kind of arrogance, don't let them in. They're just gonna cause some problems for you. So failure to investigate your market, write and follow a business plan. You definitely need to have a plan. It's like you wouldn't go to California driving without a plan. Okay, I'm gonna drive till I get to you know, Pennsylvania, and then I'm gonna spend the night. I got a map or I got GPS. A stop over in Chicago, and I'm gonna see Aunt Sue. You know, you got to have a plan. We're gonna spend this much money. It's gonna cost this much gas. You don't just jump out there and realize, damn, oh my, I don't have any credit on my my credit card. I don't have enough money to buy food. I don't know where I'm asleep or whatever. So, you know, you have a plan. Same thing with your worker co-op. Where are we going to get the business from? How are we going to deliver the products? You know, how much money is it going to cost us to deliver the products? You know, you got to think about these things. All right. Failure to educate the membership. This is a really important one. First of all, everybody needs to know what a co-op is so that they understand how things run. If they don't understand how things run, they're going to cause problems because, hey, I want all the money. We made $1 million and I want everything. I want, you know, as much money in my pocket as I can. Who cares about whether we have money 6 months from now? I may not be here 6 months from now, whatever. So you need to understand, you need to educate them why we got to save a little money here and there. Why, you know, a lot of times co-ops have what they call individual accounts. So in addition to saving money in general for expenses, they have accounts for each worker. So if there's a certain amount of profit, they will put a certain amount in each worker's account to ensure that they're getting their proper share, and your books need to be set up so that they don't get charged twice by federal taxes or state taxes or whatever. All those things you need to work that out. So you know, you just need to make sure those kinds of things are happening and that people understand why and what's going on. The other thing they need to understand is the industry. You know, they need to understand the competition. Who is our competition and what are they doing that we aren't doing? And what can we do that nobody else is doing? Because that way people are going to flock to us. So you need to understand the industry and how you fit into it. So you need to educate your membership about that too. Yeah, not playing favorites. Don't ever make the mistake of giving somebody more you know, authority when they're not ready, or just because they're whatever. You playing favorites. You don't want to do that because that demoralizes people. Then they feel like, why should I be in this? It's all about, you know, this relationship over here. I'm not being considered as an equal member or whatever. So that's a good way to kill a co-op, is playing favorites. Failure to have transparency. And so that's sharing all the information. Not addressing problems immediately. When there's some problems, you have to, say, oh, let's take 5 minutes here, let's take a deep breath, and let's go over this. And if we can't do it right now, let's set up a meeting so we could discuss this, because if we let it fester, it's going to blow up and cause bigger problems. And fail-safes are failure to structure fail-safes. These are things that can help you when you have a problem. This is what you do when there's a X number of problems. Another fail-safe would be having insurance, or like making sure you got copies of all the program or software saved somewhere else, so that if there's a storm or a fire or a bombing or whatever, you haven't lost everything. So you got to think about those kind of ways. Failure to put money away for unforeseen costs. You get a big bill and you can't pay it, and that can be hurtful to the co-op. Failure to follow rules and procedures. If you set up a rule, people got to follow them. If they don't, they need to have some consequence, because the next person ain't gonna want to do it. Why should they follow the rule and nobody else has to follow, or one person doesn't? Failure to act on people who take advantage of the cooperative or create hostile environments or negatively impact the co-op. So, you don't want members saying that they're part of digital liberations and they're going out cussing out the customers or people on the street, or they're thieves, and everybody was like, oh, don't let that person in your house or whatever, because they're going to steal. So you want a certain kind of demeanor with your people. And so, yeah. So, the ways that co-ops succeed is to choose your members carefully and often have a probation period, because, people can pretend for a long time. But if, they got 6 months probation, usually some problem going to come up, because they can't pretend that long. Some people can, but not everybody can. So you ensure member participation, informing ideas, governments, all these stuff. You want everybody to be involved, because if they're involved, then they're gonna follow the rules, if they had a hand in making the rules. So we talked about transparency. You hire legal and accounting professionals to help, at least one, so that you can start off and not get in trouble, not paying taxes or whatever, because you can get closed down that way. And this is a common mistake that businesses make. I don't understand it. I guess they think they're gonna outsmart the government, but it doesn't go well, because eventually they do catch you. So you got to have sound business practices, which, like I had a friend who had a store, and she was just, anytime she got ready, she would go in the cash register and take some money out to buy food or whatever. I'm like, you need to know how much money you pay. Don't do that. You got to know what you're making. She didn't want to hear it. So anyway, and so you should address internal threats quickly. And, those are people who can be disruptive and cause problems. And so the last point is that co-ops are democratic organizations. They are not the place where the person with the biggest mouth, or who with the most education, can get up and then just run stuff because they got the biggest mouth, or they know some things that maybe other people don't know. You see that, you need to shut it down. Tell this person, okay, you've been talking long enough. How about we let somebody else talk? Those kind of things. So they're built to benefit every every member. It's not an organization where people make money and wield it with power for themselves or a few of their closest people. So they are learning organizations. So learning organizations mean that, hey, if somebody doesn't know something, you immediately explain what that is to them. Or you have classes, or you have classes to explain stuff. So especially new members, have a education program. This is what we do. This is why we do it. You know, you just really need to make sure people understand how things are supposed to work. And members have rights and responsibilities. Often we don't think about our responsibilities. You just think, oh, I got a right to this, I got a right to that. But with the rights comes responsibility. So that means you got to pay the rules, you got to pay your share, you got to hustle and do the best you can, all those things, and not just, you know, sit back and blame other people. All right, so we were able to get through everything I thought we would for today. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about competing in a technology world. There are a lot of technology co-ops in the world here, or in the US, I should say. Then we will talk about some Black history and co-ops, the local intercooperation, which is, you know, doing business with other co-ops, digital liberation and community building, economic justice, and how you as an individual becomes a strong link in the chain. So we're at 8. Any comments, questions before we go? We head out?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. I know that was a lot.
It was good information though.
All right, cool. Mike, you all right?
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. It was a great meeting.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm going to send some links. These documents has some links in here, but I'm going to send some more hopefully tonight. If not tonight, then early tomorrow, and then we can do our last session tomorrow. And I hope we can talk more about you know, ideas that you have, questions that, you know, you might be able to get some help with. So thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
let's see, let's stop sharing. Okay, so, all right. So you guys take care and have a good evening.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.